thing here. All right, we're live on YouTube.
Apparently, we are live. All right. Uh,
And are we live on Twitch?
all right. Welcome to Pat Price Action Trading, where we look at all mainstream stocks and what the mainstream thinks is happening with fundamentals. I'm Devin. That's my ride or die homie, Jeremy. Welcome to Pat. Jeremy, take it.
Welcome to Price Action Trading, where we give you the fish.
Got it. You took my line.
We're going to pick off the top 10 things to watch on Monday by good old Cramer.
Are we doing
And
Monday or are we doing Friday?
this was published on Friday, so
Okay, so we're doing Monday,
what it
but we're
says
doing it
about
off
Monday.
Friday. Okay,
Yeah, whatever that
go.
says.
So, bang. Alrighty,
All right.
beautiful.
See us on YouTube, but I can't see us on Twitch. Let me see. Refreshinate.
Anyhow, uh,
All good. We'll
let's
figure it
see.
out later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, man. So, let's see. Under the top 10 things, of course, banks are at the top again. J.P. Morgan did. They beat out their thing, uh, their expected number by what 3.1 billion, and
Something like that.
Wells
Huge.
Fargo WFC beat theirs out by I think 600 million. Not too bad there, huh? Um,
Okay. You're looking at Fridays. All right, gotcha.
oh, do we have Mondays?
Yeah, it's up.
Oh, my
Well, it's
apologies.
top 10 things to watch on Monday. It was published on well,
But
actually
we're
no,
we're
it was
seeing ourselves on stream. Do you want to stop
published
streaming
today.
because we were
Nah,
just testing, or do you want to go for it?
go for it.
Okay,
We're
rock and
live.
roll.
We're
We
public.
we don't mind being live. Let's go. Let me get up Monday.
We will F up in person.
I am okay with
Live.
that. I'm okay doing it live and messing up in person.
Live and direct, baby.
I do
All
not
right.
mind that. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see here. Yes, we know. All right. Microsoft's new AI-powered Bing search engine, the way to go. New York Times reports Google engineers went into a panic after they learned Samsung may be considering switching. Working on new
Yeah.
search capabilities, Alphabet, or Google, Googl, CEO on 60 Minutes last night talking about artificial intelligence, saying their Bard chatbot and rival ChatGPT can do is unsettling. He said society needs to adapt. Both Google and MSFT are club holdings. So I mean basically saying that they've got both of
Yep.
them.
Both of them, and they're basically saying a
They're
little.
pro
They're
AI. They're with AI.
yeah, and they're feeling a bit bearish on Google and Microsoft, which is probably a fatal mistake typically because those companies do nothing but well. I mean, they will have pullbacks, they will have some serious price action every now and then. Like here, you
Oh,
have your
let me get in here. Sorry. I was looking at the All right, there we go. We got the chart.
so I mean, you've seen some things happen with Google, like whenever they get those, the antitrust lawsuit and this and that. I mean, it happens. Things pull back, but this is something different. This descending channel here says I want a 50% retracement all over it, and we're at the 33.3%, kind of in the middle there. Um, Good shot at this thing following through. Right now, it's going to probably consolidate a couple more days before we get loose,
Man,
and
that's
critical
showing a
support's
range
going to
break.
be yeah. And the critical support here is just right now, since it broke range, it's at about 105. So if we can get in a consolidation here and break out back through this 107 pivot, we got a pretty good chance of following through. First target would be like 108.80. Continuation would run that right up to the 50% line up here at about 117.50. So pretty sweet action. We got this descending channel. Pretty common deal. We broke angular long ago. Consolidated after it. I've been doing lots of dope on this because I've been trading this stuff. Now we've got the third leg of a measured move done. And if it consolidates here a few more days, I think we can get a breakout. Now, don't rule out the fact that it can also pull back to about half of this move. So we can get a move back down to like, well, $100. In fact, I'm going to borrow this pivot and just go whoop right up to $100. I'm going to set that there. So bottom line, keep an eye on this one. Don't go jumping into the setup. Wait for the break, trade the break for sure.
Wait for the
It'll
break.
it'll be either way. And then what was the other one? Microsoft.
Yeah,
That's the
Microsoft.
other panic button. And dude, I've been
And that's MSFT.
yeah, I've been in Microsoft for a long time trading it, and same. Only this has already met its 50% retracement channel retracement. So kind of a little bit less enthusiastic about this chart. However, let's throw an angular in there. Let me adjust this to the recent price action there. So you can see we've kind of double bottomed out, got that nice roundy through angular resistance with aggression. Now we're consolidating at the 50% retracement. This is a common setup for a big time chance of a follow through, and typically this looks more like a cup and handle than your average, breakover. This is not a bear flag. What I can see here is we've got long trend, rounding bottom. We've broken the 50% retracement. There's two rim lines in a cup and handle, and this is where you got the rounding cup here. You got rim line 1, 308, rim line 2, 327, and effectively I would expect a pullback right around there and consolidate either here or here. And essentially after that you look for a bullish measured move to the upside on the output side of this. So you got one leg here, two legs here, third leg takes you here. If this is a full, then you run up to like, the 360s. So yeah, it's going to be a long time for this to play out. That's a big company with a lot of money to move around before it makes that kind of price action. But the setup is there. Pull that out to a daily chart, and I'll zoom way out so you can still see the rounding part of it. Same deal. We're just looking for consolidation. In the short term, we're looking for a breakout of this range and eventually price target 308 first. Um, Again, take that with your grain of salt because sometimes, you get a measured move like this, it can sometimes pull back to a key support level. And in this case, it's typically a 50% retracement. Roll with it. Whatever it shows you to do, it'll show you what to do.
And I mean,
All
that's
right.
our favorite term is the 50% retracement. That is what we're looking for.
Dude, those trades are gold.
They're gold.
50% retracements are just, they're so plentiful, man. You could throw a dart at a heat map and find one.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's get on back over to the list here. All
Yeah.
right, let's see here. Uh, Alphabet shares down, Microsoft, Barclays Monday increases Microsoft price target to 310 per share from 280. Keeps overweight buy rating. The analysts see spending stabilization. Morgan Stanley still bullish on Google. Reiterates 135 per share price target and inline hold rating. The
Yeah.
analysts see the company benefiting from AI driven e commerce and online innovation.
Pretty much covers everything we just said about price action.
Yep,
I would say
that's pretty
we
much
can be in agreement.
exactly. I was like, didn't we already cover this? You know.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over then to Dow. There we go. Number three, Dow, S&P, Nasdaq saw a relatively flat open after stumbling on Friday, despite the strong earnings from Club Holding, Wells Fargo, WFC, and others. Another big week ahead for quarterly reports. Club names Johnson and Johnson on Tuesday, Morgan Stanley on Wednesday, and Procter and Gamble on Friday. In his
Yeah.
Sunday column, he talked about what he wants to see before putting some of the newly raised cash to work in the market. Uh, what do you want to take a look at here? We've already been looking at the Dow, S&P, and Nasdaq. Do you want to go through
Yeah.
that a bit, tackle that a bit?
Well, we'll basically do a couple recaps first, and then we'll get to Morgan Stanley. I have one on Procter and Gamble. I want to do some dope on, but just to revisit Wells Fargo, we know this is our leg down measured move. This is a big bear flag. It did break. Now it's got that point where it comes back and tests a 50% retracement. Look at this. It's almost there. So at this point, we're going to see what happens next with Wells Fargo. With a lot of regional banks and some banks coming out with earnings this week, I think we're going to see some volatility in this field nonetheless. But we've got this key area right here. This is a 50% retracement line, and we're currently trading at 41. Target here is like 41.50. We're not far. Okay, it's done most of that move today. Came right off the open, did very well as predicted. If you look at Friday's action, it wicked right up to that bum, right at that number. I mean, to the penny. So we know what we're talking about when we say 50% retracements are gold mine. All right.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Coming to a revisit on that, it may tap it one more time. If it does reject it and we start getting an angular resistance in here, which is very possible,
Hmm.
then we could see some pullback targets back here at about $40.28. So kind of be aware of that in the short term that it can pull back. Long term, if it rejects there cleanly, that concludes our bear flag and then we get ripped. So
Man, I really
the
like that
Wells,
volatility. Look at all that volatility.
yeah, I love these.
Uh-huh.
Wells Fargo can certainly be a wait for the break here. If you traded that move we presented to you last week, you did great. Now it's time to just wait for the next setup on that one. So for me, I'm going to take my hands off of this thing and wait. Revisiting, what was it? Johnson and Johnson. That was that one where we had that buy high, sell higher, sell up. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
there it
setup.
is.
So we got the consolidation in there and it's staying in that range. We knew it would be likely to stay in this range. And we said if it breaks this 50% retracement line, the white one there,
Hmm.
and that's coming off of this, all right, if it breaks out above that, we know it's got great chance of continuation on up to the next pivots. No problem. We did have a pullback. Friday we had a big old wick there with a one of those long, tall, skinny hammers that says, I'm going to give you an evening star all over it. So here we have the price action from Friday here. We have the price action today, revisiting a key pivot level right down the median value of that. So this is fair market value for today. I think there's a good chance of finding a quick little push towards the close. That might be about it for it today. If this competes into or completes into a nice pennant here, we can still get that breakout. We just do not have a direction yet. Either it'll reject this and come back and close this gap, or it'll continue on and run up to the next pivots. So again, if you took that trade on and killed it on Friday, um, also on Thursday, because I think we've been looking at this since, gosh, I want to say at least Wednesday last week, something like that, maybe.
Hmm.
I don't remember when we posted it. Long story short, this is the time where you take your profit from those little scalps and you wait for that setup because this is going to be interesting soon. Just not sure which way of interesting and how much of interesting. But let me tell you, if it cracks this 163 area, that is one hell of a gap down, guys. So just be prepared for anything with this. If you haven't taken your profit already, I would seriously consider doing so and waiting for this to follow through. And then let's have a look at Morgan Stanley real quick. That
Okay.
minimal price action on that for what we're looking at. But remember, we still got this
There's that
shaking out.
nice that triple bottom really did shake out nicely though.
Oh yeah, and we came across the key resistance area. This is R1,
Hmm.
right? So we're coming up through it today, and we're probably likely to hit the upper range target here, 89 bucks. And hell, we're just about there already. That's kind of cruising on up. I expect to close either at or just a hair under $89. And when we get that follow through, we're looking for a push through that up to the 50% retracement line, which is about 90 bucks. We've still got some room to go. It's not a whole lot dollar wise, so it's not something I would typically trade with equity. This is something I would definitely trade with options. And if we breach that 50% line, look at this channel we're forming here. So, I mean, that's quite the push.
Mm-hmm.
Expect at least 50%. Probably going to close that gap if it gets any more bullish beyond that 50%. So, definitely worth revisiting. For now, prepare to take some profit today because it's kind of looking weak at the moment. Maybe going to push to 89, but if you made money off the bounce there, don't be greedy. What was the next thing we're looking at? Procter and Gamble. Let's put some
Let's
dope on
see
that.
here. Yeah, Procter and Gamble. They're putting Morgan Stanley, Johnson and Johnson, Procter and Gamble.
Yikes! Look at that M top right here. That's on the weekly.
Ooh,
Daily, we're looking for range. If we can't consolidate and break out fully here, we can expect this to revisit 138.50, which is where the critical support is. See if I can get it on there. 38.50. There we go. Right about the mean value of this guy. And I also look at this. This is the key support candle right here, that base. So we got a couple things that can happen in the short term. We've got 50% retracement, 145.40 down from here. If we break over immediately, if this holds a high and tight pennant and breaks out, it can certainly break range to the upside. That's not as likely as the downside. So this, for me, would be setting up a pretty good bearish trade. And I'm going to put a couple key levels in there. And this will be the red line because if it breaks this, I'm going bull bear right down to here, base target. And let's zoom back out. Weekly chart. This is one of those things where it's in, kind of unfamiliar territory. It's been there once, but this is a strong bearish pattern setting up, or at least a channel out of this. So
kind of trying
long
to
term,
walk sideways.
yeah, long term, expect sideways and volatile. Short term, expect some
Hmm.
decent little day trades here and there. The options aren't bad on this thing to trade. They've got not, enough liquidity to make it work. The movement's a bit slower than I'd like for, looking for overnight swings. So I'd be definitely looking out. If you're doing debit spreads or something, look for like a month or more for expiration. Give it some time to unwind.
Man, that
Probably be
thing's
your
trying
best
to
bet.
roll over.
It is.
That looks like it's dojiing out.
Yeah. So if it cracks this red line here, expect it to
One,
start
two,
retracing all of
three,
this
four,
price action
five.
from previous days.
5 touches on support there. 5, 6, 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Wow.
So
Might
if
go
we
might go
smash it,
7.
look for tomorrow to open under that line and just start trending down and basically repeating all the action on this upward trend
Mhm.
down to that 50% line.
Yep.
If it breaks that 50% line, look for a possible quick drop. So definitely be a little bit leery of Procter and Gamble if you're going to go long, but if you're going to go short, I might go short when it breaks that line. Um, yeah, I'm looking for some good price action. On the other side of that argument, sometimes, and you've got a couple of very clear signs here. You got two fan lines, and we're going to make them out of, um, these are called, dang it, what the heck's the word for it? Wolf waves. So you got your low, high, low. But we're going to stretch it out. So high, low, high, low. Easy wolf wave targets are this. And
It's
I
also
do this
just going
with,
through the center line of that too.
yep. And I do this with fan lines on a 5-second chart as well. All right. So low, high. Go out this way. And there is still a somewhat, if it breaks this line, you can go bullish. If it breaks down, you can go bearish. And then when you've got both a bullish and a bearish wolf wave in the same chart pattern on consolidation like this, here's where you make it or break it. You always throw in a divisive line or what we call the regression line. And this is where your turning point is. So you can see in the pre-market, you got wicks out of it, but where the body stops right on that line, on the regression line between bullish wolf wave and bearish wolf wave. So we're looked for a bearish move today. The open came up, touched it. Good time to short, run it down. Good day trade there. If it were to break this line, we can go, okay, well, we can consolidate and run bullish, and there's probably several fib levels in here we could run to up to that, 153.33 pivot. Or the other argument is we got rejected. We're down around the critical support point. We can run down to the bearish side. Another little trick we use for price action trading, we divide between the regression line and angular support and angular resistance as well. And same kind of deal. It just gives us some other targets to go to. So we can see that price has respected this mediary. If it breaks this in the morning, smokes down, we can expect descending price action and run to the angular support. Opposite is if by some miracle this thing runs up into the close and meets right to that regression line and opens above it tomorrow, well, there's your first target. Pretty simple. So those are a lot of fun to trade. I'll definitely keep an eye on that one. It's a good dopey chart.
Oh yeah. You know, that's what we like. That's why we're doing this, Jay. It's because it's what people are looking at, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, let's go back to, let's see here. Okay. Bunch of firms raise price targets on JP Morgan, JPM.
Yeah. Another
Target
revisit.
best of the best earnings. Let's see here. On Monday, why are they bringing up Charles Schwab brokerage under pressure since last month's Silicon Valley Bank failure delivers a better than expected quarter? Oh, Charles Schwab delivered better than anticipated quarterly.
I don't remember if we put any dope on Schwab or not, but I know I have a lot on JPM. And I don't know why my channel lines got all screwy like that, but we'll make the best of it. So this is our weekly chart. We've had our basic run up here. We knew about where the resistance was. So it's
And
pretty easy to find.
this is on JPM.
Yep,
Okay.
JP Morgan. I'm gonna shrink this down so we can see it better. There's my channel lines looking right. Okay, so we broke that angular resistance when we looked at this last week. We played along this pivot, and it literally just straight
Boom.
gapped up, blasted through the 50%, the 66.6%, the 73 point, whatever the fib line is, the percent, went right to the key pivot. I mean, smacked it today. All right, so this was an easy stinking bull trade, but now look a little bit further back. This is one of those rounding tops with a split in the middle. Oftentimes these will play out and retrace back to key support areas. So watch for pullbacks to come to this 50% line. And if it accumulates there, it can go into that rounding top that looks bearish until it isn't a type of situation and bounce out, or it can break on down. Remember, when we found all these key control areas, we literally looked at the weekly candles right back here and found all the gaps and all the previous price action, key support and resistance areas, and we doped it all out. And dude, we stinking nailed every target in there. So let's go to a 30-minute chart and see exactly what happened here.
Is that a square?
That is a square. And that's what I use for marking a measured move. So when I found this, it was as simple as, okay, we lined up about that height right there to median value, and we just stack it up beyond that resistance point. Well, if it finishes this move, that's a bullish measured move. So if we get in that range anywhere today or tomorrow, cool, we can remain bullish. This is your key resistance point right here. And if it cannot make it through that, because we know this is a previous important area of price, we can go and reject and come back down and hit this line. This will be our new 50% retracement line right down here. So if we can open above that tomorrow or close above it today, we can expect it to finish that move to the bullish measured move, we call it, and maybe hit that target of about 144 thereabout. If it fails, well, we know where it goes if it fails. So pretty simple price action. And, we day trade all the time. And This stuff will stick out to us even on a 5-second chart. It'll look the exact same. I mean, we've been nailing these.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing to pay attention to, there's an angular fan line from way, way, way back in time. All right. So we go back here and stab that right through there.
Right through the middle.
Comes up, fans all of our price action. And look where we are now. We're right up against that sucker. So if this breaks from here, expect a bearish pullback. If it breaks out from here, cool. We can go to the next levels and we can start setting up pivots above. But for now, if it can't breach to at least finish that measured move, we're looking to be bears as soon as it tops out.
Yeah, look at that too.
Definitely, definitely be mindful of this one. It can definitely do that.
Don't chase.
And don't chase it. If it goes above this line, cool. You can finish the move,
Finish the
but be
move.
ready to go and flip that order and take the pullback and or support break and retracement.
Hit
Definitely
the reverse
possible.
button.
Anything can happen, and this is one heck of an earnings week we're into. So we love volatility, and this is the kind of week that pays our bills.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let me look at Schwab real quick. So SCHW. I don't know if I've put any dope on that chart yet. I got a couple pivots, but nothing really major. Zoom out. Oh, hey, channel line. I remember this one now. We did look at this.
Yeah, we've
Cool.
been looking at a few of well, we've been looking at Kramer's list for about a week now, getting
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 familiar.
pretty getting familiar. Yep. That's
That is for certain. So
well,
one of the
it's
things,
confirming. It's doing it's it's doing what we talked about.
that's for sure. So one of the things we kind of looked at was in this descending channel, where, hold on a second, there we go. In this descending channel, we have a regression line and we had a key support area that we looked at and it kind of held it. Go back to the daily chart. We're starting to set up possibly reversal here. We got the double bottom. There's your R1, which we've marked out here. If we break out from there, we've got, target one is like 53.70. We've got a 55.50. And if we can get back through that regression line, or at least to the regression line, we can expect some trend here. But just be very careful with this kind of channel setup because we're still playing with divisions. And
Mm.
we always subdivide these. And I'll even do the upper side. And we've played this game before on this side. See, we've gone here, tested it, ran up to angular, tested it, ran up, didn't make angular, but mash. All right. So now we're
Smash,
kind of running,
smash, smash.
a big old bearish measured move here. So we've got this big drop. It's smacked right through regression. We're playing in the second division on the bottom. So if this gets rejected here, it can go south in a stinking hurry right to angular support. So if that breaks loose and the bears start coming, they've been here before.
Well, it's
They
gonna
will take
break.
it there.
That's just a pullback before it continues down. That's what it looks like to
Right.
me.
So it starts looking like a double bottom, and bulls will start to chase this. This is where
Mm.
typical retail gets burnt. And
Mm.
oftentimes, the bears will sell into the volume or the liquidity that retail provides, and they'll sell you the shares happily
Too soon,
because
Junior.
they're gonna buy them back here cheaper, return them to their broker, and pocket the difference, and you're gonna be holding the
Exactly.
bag.
Holding the line.
So just be careful with this. If you're gonna try and trade this at all, wait for a clean break. Definitely day trade it, but man, this thing can flip like a bird. So be very, very um, what do we say? Nimble.
Yeah.
You gotta
I,
be
I like
ready for anything.
I like prudent.
Yes, prudent works good too. But look at this range on this thing. We
Oh
wicked
yeah.
into the open here. We wicked all the way down to 49.16, and then we bounced up. We
I
hit
mean, that's
right on that
beautiful.
angular
What a great day for trading on that.
stuff we plotted out on the daily, 2-hour, and weekly chart is all in play here. There's your subdivision right there. Look,
Hmm.
right through these two major candles.
Oh
Blam.
yeah.
All right, damn near split them for a full measured move to the top, hit the key pivot, rejected, pull back. There we go. Look for a close
Yeah, that
probably right
that
around
gave
here
you
if
a
it pulls back
twofer.
more.
That gave you a twofer pretty much. It's
Yes,
a
sir.
full measured move.
And the volatility is pretty high there. I mean, that was a stack of bars on the 15-minute chart. And the 5-minute chart was just that was some glorious
Oh
trading,
my
right?
god.
There's your nice
Did
little
that
Wu Tang there.
did
Whoop,
that oh
nice go.
yeah, are those what, a couple John Wicks at the bottom and then rock and roll?
That's it.
Wow, man.
And this can set up bullish here still because we have a really steep trend. We got a long accumulation. We can set up a 1-for-1 and push, but man, like I said, just be nimble because
Eh.
this thing, when the bears find it, they
Yeah,
take it.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing. I'm like, don't I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
chase it.
I wouldn't chase that one. I
But if it
definitely
starts to rally into the
that's
close above that 5240 line, it can certainly finish at least half that measured move, maybe even push to the top of it. Just, it's going to be quick. So be nimble. Um, don't get greedy. Take your profit. Day trade it. Don't
mhm.
don't try and hold a bag for anybody. Okay.
Yeah, wait for
We know
confirmation.
better. Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. Alrighty. Let's see. Are we on 4? No, we're on 5. All right.
Hard.
Merrick MRK announces a deal to buy Prometheus Biosciences RXDX for 10.8 billion.
Well, let's see.
75% premium to the RXDX close on Friday. Pre-market Monday, much of that upside is being reflected. Prometheus is a biotech that works on targeting autoimmune diseases, sorry. The CEOs of both companies are on Mad Money tonight.
You know what we're going to do with this one?
What do you want? Are you on the daily or the weekly? You're on the weekly.
Weekly. I'm going to draw some boxes.
He's a box drawing son of a gun. Look at that
So
measured move.
clean measured moves. And we're setting up for a possible third leg, so it can get loose and start running this up, right?
Yep.
The other scenario is it can go down to the bottom of this range and test a 50% retracement. So let's stick a pivot down there.
Well, what about the halfway mark? Wouldn't you put it on? Would you put it on the bottom or would you put it on the halfway of
Um,
that little
because
range that you've got there?
because this is a one leg and two
Mhm.
leg,
Mhm.
split the difference. You don't
Okay,
always
got
have
it.
to be in the bottom.
So you're
It's going to
doing
be
it on
median
the
value,
pullback of the first leg.
right? If you remember the
Got
end
it.
pattern when you're day trading with me, there's your
Oh yeah.
bar, pullback, bar. You get the two,
Mhm.
1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
So effectively, the median value is the middle of this bar.
Yep. Got it.
And that's where the 50% retracement is. If it comes and rejects this, if this turns into an M top, it'll likely retrace back here to 100 bucks.
Mhm.
But if it spins out a third measured move, we've got upwards of 130 to push to. Um, be mindful though, when one company buys another, where does the revenue come from? The buying company.
Mhm.
So who's holding that bag? Investors. Whenever you hear of a big company buying a smaller company like that and paying X amount of dollars for it, just know that that money comes from somewhere. And this can give you a quick pullback. That money does come from equity. So this isn't M top. It can pull back. I could be wrong. It could continue and push up to the top of this box here. It can give you a third leg measured move. Look for it on the daily chart. Got that look. It can do it, but I'm not saying it will. This is going to be your make it or break it line, and I'm going to put another pivot right between those, and I'm going to paint it red. If it breaks that, closes below that, whatever, it can certainly head south. Complete this box. This is the critical support of an M top, and if you get follow through on an M top, you might as well come down to support. So you look at $85.50 is the bottom of the hole. If it does get through this, and breach that 50% retracement line, it can go that way. So it can go either way. All you got to do is trade the break. The setup's going to reveal itself in the short term. You'll definitely have a clue as to what to do with the darn thing before it happens. Dang it, let me make this gray so I can see through it. And this one,
I
we'll make
can't
gray too.
see.
There we go. So you can definitely see that there's move after move after move. when you get these trends like this, they form those channels, and when you hit the channel one, two, three, four, you can get a five wave and a breakover. Um, if you look back this far, you got one, two, three, four. You already have five from the key support. So if it's gonna break over, it will happen here. If not, you'll get, seven to a half, or sometimes you'll get a nine to the top. So these trends are your friend until they end, and they'll end in a specific Elliott wave fashion where you get your three, your five, your seven, your nine, and occasionally your 11. Rarely seen an 11 wave trend on any chart ever, but it does happen. It's really rare, but it does happen. And you can see there's one, two, three, four, five here, breach down, reversed, right?
And they
So,
touch on resistance and support.
yes, sir. So it's been there, done that. That's what the M top looks like. So if this is going to breach, it'll roll over here. It'll be a bear trade, about a $15 move. Heck yeah, I'm going to look for some spreads on that. If it's going to be bullish, yet again, $15 move to the upside possible. Stop with test points around the halfway mark. So like, yeah, you might get a 750 out of it from here. Who knows? But in the short term, it's definitely going to be volatile, and it's definitely going to thus be a great swing trade or day trade setup. You just got to trade the break and not the setup. So we have the makings here of some price action. We just don't know direction until this line is either rejected or confirmed.
All right, good stuff, man. Let's see here. Let's go back to our list. JP Morgan, analysts like Amazon, AMZN.
Yeah.
We were talking about that a couple days ago. They were talking about their bio companies and such.
All
Let's
right.
see. Oh,
So
here, I'll give them your chart. Let's give me a second here.
that's
So
okay. I was just
incrementally,
talk while you're
Jesse's.
looking.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm reading the thing. Jesse's commentary is incrementally more positive. They're less sanguine after Thursday's letter. That's the letter where they were talking about building out different aspects of Amazon. In the CNBC interview, we would like Amazon to take a page out of Mark Zuckerberg's cost-cutting playbook at Meta Platform. Both are club holdings. So it looks like Amazon's saying it's positive, but I'm getting an ambiguous vibe from Cramer.
Yeah. I was, I'll have to confess, I went on my personal Twitter account at just scalp it J. And I tagged Mr. Matthew Tuttle. If you don't know who he is the guy who had come out with that SGM ETF, which shorts everything Jim is long on. All right. I posted and tagged both SGM and Mr. Tuttle in that, and I said, I'll read the tweet to you. I caught the tail end of Cramer throwing shade at Amazon last night, and this was last week, saying words like underperform and bearish on Amazon. Any analyst worth their salt can spot a descending wedge with a $131 breakout target. Would S. Jim agree? He replied, which is phenomenal. It makes me feel humble. There are better setups. Okay, I agree with that. So I said, definitely. I'll stick with volatility. Thanks for the reply. Then he replied, volatility? What volatility? That's what I trade is volatility. So
Yeah.
I replied, I just kind of gave him a because he's a hedge fund manager. I gotta come up with something a little more intelligent to tell him. So I said, I have been trading a swap strategy on SPY lately, where I start with a debit spread and later I convert them into negative risk butterflies to lock in profit while maintaining a position that can earn a lot more. So far, the price action or volatility has made it easy. So he hit the like button on that one, which I'm also pretty proud of. Anyway, long story short, yes, there are better setups out there, but this descending wedge um, does not allow me to ignore it, and it's got a beautiful breakout target to the 50% retracement. We got subdivisions. We're trading on top of the last subdivision here. We have a liquidity zone to get through, and I think with what is coming up this week, Amazon announces earnings, I think 21st or the 20th, I can't remember. Um, anyway, by the time price gets there, if it breaches this 103.80 zone, which I have as a key resistance zone based on previous price action, that's the bottom of a gap right here. I have it set to where it can press this liquidity zone here. And at the same time, if it breaches angular resistance, we got a pretty good shot at a breakout when we got two short-term targets, 110.88 and 114.22. That's just based on the top of the gap and the top of the bar after it. After that, it's mostly airtime on up to that 131 target if it continues to trend from there. It can certainly pull back from there and accumulate just on top of angular support in any one of these pivot ranges. Sure, it just makes more trading for me. It's not very volatile. That's why you would ask, what volatility? But it's coming. I like to call this the calm before the storm. So let this set up, let it find a way to this angular resistance, whether it goes sideways to it or it goes, a little bit parabolic to it. Eventually, all ranges break, and this is one big descending range. So we will see what happens in the near future, as well as what happens in the distant future with Amazon. And we are at critical areas. We've been there, we've done that. Now we come back up. We got all this price action to retrace on the outside. So all these control areas end up being met on the way back out. Let's see what happens. But in the meantime, definitely keep an eye on that sucker for a good trade setup. Heck, into today with a 15-minute chart, we got a nice little Wu-Tang setup. We're at R1. We got a chance at running the target one in the close at about 102.50.
Just pick up a quick 2 or 3 pointer right there.
Heck
I
yeah,
mean,
why
that's
not?
that's bounced already. I mean, we're on pullback. Where's my Robin
Right?
Hood?
Be mindful there is a 50% retracement target in play here. You do have to keep a little bit mindful of those.
Yeah, but
So we
that's
can
all I
pause
want, man.
here.
Just a couple bucks.
Yeah, couple bucks.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
quick little trade. Just take a little free ride.
Exactly. It'll at least run at did I have an unfinished run to it as well. If you want to adjust the 50% to it, okay, there you go. It's the mean value here.
Hmm.
All right, we'll see. If it continues to run up, you got a pretty easy target to 102.48, 102.50 for a push. Cool, few cents. But if it breaks that, you're talking dollars, son. So roll with it. Whatever the price action tells you to do, do it. In the meantime, I'm long-term bullish on Amazon, but in the short term, gonna be a little bit volatile really soon.
Nice, man. Scalp everything that moves, Jay.
That's right. I don't call myself just Scalp it Jay for nothing.
All right, let's see here.
And I don't even want to look at Meta, but I'll do it anyway,
You want to look? You're gonna look at Meta?
just briefly.
Didn't they change it to? No. That's Twitter changed to Company X. Did you
Something
hear?
like that. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Uh,
So if you looked at Amazon's chart and you saw that descending wedge, let's compare it to Meta. Look, descending channel, broke angular, right to the 50% retracement. No problem. Did it in a perfect measured move. Trade done. Take profit. Ding. Thank you. Come again. So, like I said, watch Amazon to do exactly this. Consolidate a couple bars and do its thing. This is a weekly chart. Daily chart, it takes a little time, right? But dude, when it starts making measured moves, you better recognize. Like I said, volatility coming to Amazon soon. Just keep watching or take a position and trade it. What do you got? It's Amazon.
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. What are you going to do?
All right, let's see
Uh,
here. 7. Barclays increases price target on Foot Locker FL. They went from 40 to 43,
hmm.
getting much better under CEO Mary Dillon.
I have
Turnaround
no clue.
strategy. Former CEO of Ulta Beauty or ULTA.
Yeah, I'll get it a Alta too. That's a great one to trade. All right, so Foot Locker, kind of a past tense situation. There's your channel, there's your 50% retracement line, or drag it down here, or whatever you want to do. Nah, not too exciting on the weekly. It's slow. But look what we have on the daily chart. No, 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 no. A descending megaphone channel. Look at that bad boy. Whoops. Didn't want to do that. Want to do that.
And don't forget the regression line.
Yes, sirree, Bob. All right, regression line, we're off. I'm going to throw a subdivision on this half of it. Outlier 2. So we set up off of that with a big old spinner right after a bar. Look for a push to angular resistance in the near future. Target that about 40.75, about a 50-cent move up from where it is now. Reach that, easy retracement target right to 41.90, maybe give it 42, round it up. If this goes into overdrive, and it certainly can, look for a quick bar after that for full retracement to previous high of 45.50-ish, 45.60. However, be cautious there because this channel is vast. That's a weekly chart, guys. Channel
Oh
big.
man, I would love to take that last ride up. Look at that.
Yeah. So
Where are we
when
at
it
on the
comes
fit? We're about on the 50% retracement though too of this
just
last channel.
just under. So if I added a channel line for this whole thing, this is a weekly chart. It's a lot of stinking time, right?
That's a lot
We
of
have a
time.
zone and we're in it. So this is zone A to B. And if it breaks this, CMAP D. There you go.
Oh,
If
so
it
we
breaks this, CMAP E.
that's great. So we're right in that spot where it could just break either way, and
Right.
you just take a ride that direction.
Yes, sir. And then you breach angular resistance here. Most descending megaphones do tend to follow through, at least for 50% retracement. Never mind this. This was probably earnings spike. That happens. People chased it. They got their butts chewed when it came out. Whatever. Problem is, when you get these descending channels, they usually always do what? They break and hit a 50% retracement
Hmm.
very regularly. So look for a push back up to there. From there, they can certainly continue to run in their general trend direction. Well, this is still part of a bullish trend and it has still got lots of unfinished business to continue riding up, sure. But in the meantime, also look at it with a little grain of salt. Think of this gap down as the same as this gap down. And it accumulated here, tested that pivot, and oh, and then, oh,
Oh,
way south. So yeah, if we get that actual recession that all the um, analysts are talking about, yeah, we could see something like that. Okay, so you know, in this area, it's kind of like short term. Yeah, we can make a quick swing for the upside. Long term, it might get ugly. So just be nimble with this one. It's definitely a trader stock. I can swing trade that all day long. That's a good one. But look at the range. It's not bad. About a buck 50 in some cases. Not terrible.
hmm.
Worth swing trading, but just be nimble because if the bears grab this, they'll rip it. All right, what else
All
we
right.
got on there? There was Alta. Yes,
Yep, ULTA.
I love me some Alta. You can see I haven't traded it in a while. In fact, I'm gonna delete these because they're no longer useful. But what is this?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That is a
It's gorgeous.
massive bullish measured move on the weekly chart. My goodness, this thing should be seen from visible from the surface of Mars.
Yeah, seriously. With the under that time frame, look at that.
So I'm just going to drag this box up.
Great
Boop.
consolidation. Look at that
Yeah,
range.
we've got a price target on that, I would say, of about 595, 596, give or take. Finish that move to that top. From there, it can 50% retrace. If we do actually get a recession, I'd expect it to retrace to like 380. If not, if things are going good for the, makeup and beauty business. Well,
which it does.
you know, kind of one of those things. And in the short term daily chart, we've made a two-leg measured move. The third leg takes us right to the top of that box. So yeah, it's certainly
That looks like
looking long-term
continuation.
bullish. Yes,
Where's
sir.
my Robin Hood?
Right.
Just hold on to that for a week or two.
And
What
it's
are you on the weekly or the daily?
this is the daily here,
Yeah,
and
so
we're
hold it for
starting
a
to
week or two.
curl up. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got a pretty good shot at running at least to 553 in the short term.
Mhm.
It's 527 now. It's a few bucks.
Mhm.
If it gets real loose, hell yes, we can finish that move. There's plenty of business to be had there.
Oh yeah.
And let me shrink this so we can see it on the 2-hour chart a little better. We've had our descending channel from last week. There's your 50% retracement right here. So this is short-term 50%er.
Bounced a couple times.
Tested it, rejected it, but look for consolidation. And if it breaks this line, cool, we can finish that move to the top. If it rejects here, well, check for support, 508. It's got range. We'll see what it does. We'll
Yeah.
keep an eye on it. This will be a revisit for sure.
All right. Good stuff. Back to the list here. The list. Let's see. Palo Alto Networks, PANW.
Don't think I've messed with that one yet.
Let's see here. Morgan Stanley said they were solidifying market leadership in cloud security.
Dang,
Margins.
that's kind of scary on a weekly chart.
Not discounting much at all. Oh,
Okay, let's look at some control areas here. We got 50% retracement.
they say we
Done.
now own 250 shares of PANW, about 1.8% weighing in our portfolio. All right, there you go. Rock and roll.
207.50 would be my short-term price target. And then I would expect a pullback to about 191.70-ish. Let's go with the medium value. How about 190? Just to round it. Zooming out on a weekly chart, I mean, this thing's choppy and messy, and
Mhm.
we're essentially repeating kind of this noise here. Look for pullback, look for a push back up, and then maybe. Don't know that I want to trade this one.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay a dividend, so it's not like an investment stock.
Mm.
Probably going to finish that move with a little bullish sentiment up to like 407.50-ish. From there, I'd be a little leery of it. Sorry, not 407,
Wait
207.50-ish.
for it to pull back. It needs a pullback.
Desperately, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to hands off this one. I'm kind
Yeah.
of not bullish or bearish on it. I'm just like sort of eh. I've
Uh,
seen better setups.
you heard him, folks. He's hands off on that one. Okay. Let's see. Tesla. Oh, we love Tesla.
Dude,
Barclays lowered its price target to 230 from 275.
been trading this for years and years. All right, let me adjust my line for a weekly chart here.
I love it.
I made a killing on this move here.
Oh
I
yeah,
did really good on that.
that was a really good move.
Now we're looking at division line. Oops. I guess I could have just used a radius line, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
We've hit the subdivision line. With a doji on the weekly. We're likely to come out, and if earnings is good, and I think it's this week, 19th, I believe. If this has a nice bull flag, tighten up right at that point by the 19th. Yeah, we could see this. Let me get the daily chart up.
What
There
do
we
you
go.
think can break out? Make a break for
Trying
it?
to plot where it'll be. It'll be right at that previous 50% retracement on the 19th. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing break either way. It'll either A, pull back and head for 160 if news is bad, or B, we get a bullish measured move and we start pushing to 290. And I have a condor on this currently. I am neutral. So hands on, I like the idea of trading it. I just don't have a particular direction yet. And Elon's being a bit cryptic this time. So I'm not going to rule out a big move, but I can definitely say that it's coming to a point where it can break out and run for the next 50% retracement of that big old weekly channel and end up in a good way. Let me figure out what happened to my adjusted line here. That was supposed to be a subdivision. Sometimes it skews on the daily chart. There we go. So we're right up against the angular on the subdivision line, descending channel. This is regression, subdivision, kind of tightening in that range. So we'll definitely expect a break. We just don't have a direction yet. And if it's bearish, yeah, 161, 162-ish for 50% retracement. If it's bullish, look for a push through angular, maybe end the week at about 214. And if things get really exciting, follow through would take it on up to about 280, 290, give or take. That's a 50% retracement of this big old channel. Can it go parabolic like this? Yeah, we've seen it do that. Those were some great trades as well. I had a great time with all of this. In fact, when this came out and finally broke resistance here, I took this trade long too. So definitely lots of great trades in Tesla. It has always been a great trader stock. I'm all over it. This time I'm neutral. This time back here, I was bullish as I could get at. I was taking everything I could possibly risk into this trade. Not saying throw my whole account at it, but all in, I was running the full 10% risk of my account value in this move, and boy, did it pay off. So, um, running into the short-term price action, it's literally just kind of grinding sideways, waiting for that shoe to drop. We will see what the investors think of the earnings very shortly, and we will have a move. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Don't know what direction.
Yeah. If this, then that.
Exactly. Wait for the break, trade it.
Yep.
If this happens, trade it to that.
That's it. That's it.
All
Let's see
right.
here. All right, 10. GM,
Oh,
General Motors. They
you
lowered the
know, I'm
price. They lowered the price target by $1 per share, from 46 to 45. Equal weight holding rating. Analytics set a low bar for GM quarter. That's going to be out on April 25th. Barclays also pretty negative on Ford.
gonna
And
look.
yeah, go
I'm
ahead,
gonna
Jay.
tell a little story with GM. I'm
Gather around, children.
at the particular time when GM was bailed out, I was angry because my tax dollars went into this. Your tax dollars went into this. I vowed to get my tax dollars back one day, and this is long before I started trading, right? Back in 2008. You can't out trade the U.S. Treasury. You just can't. So what you can do is you can ride on our coattails. So
Yep.
what I should have done instead of being emotional about it is traded accordingly. Okay, if I would have been awake and trading at this time, I probably would have went long the moment I heard bailout was possible because I knew it would probably be probable. Bought GM at $2 a share and danced all the way to the bank because that would have been one hell of a move, right? Easy peasy. All right, fast forward. I started trading in 2017, towards the end of it, so early 2018. I had a chance to see that it was peaking at resistance. I took a short trade on it, did very well. I'm like, hey, I grinned. I got to short GM and take some of my tax dollars back. In fact, that's what I said. I
All at
posted
the
that all
same
over social
time.
media. Yes. Every time it would pop into a trade zone where I saw some opportunity, I would short it. I would only ever trade it bearish because I love trading the window down effect instead of the stairs up. So this ridiculousness that happened over the whole lockdown situation, I never got long on it, and I should have. All right, again, trading with my political anger rather than trading with what the damn chart tells me to do.
Right.
So I'll admit that I didn't really start being very methodical about keeping my not necessarily emotions, but my bias out of my trading until probably about the beginning of 2020. And I really started coming into my own when I started teaching, which is about in 2020. I started writing articles describing different trading strategies and stuff like that. When I started teaching, it made me a better trader because I hammered the one thing down repeatedly. I would always say, forget about the money, keep your emotions out of trading. That's all emotions. You cannot feel about a stock. You have to know. The chart tells you what you need to know. The end. Don't let anything else cloud your mind. Focus on that chart. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Lizard brain takes care of the rest, whatever. Don't use your emotions when you're trading. Well, what do we
Exactly.
see here? All right. This is what the chart is telling me right now. So this is a weekly chart. We've got this massively long consolidation channel, very slow, grindy movement, right?
Could go 4 to 5.
We've got competition in the automotive manufacturers is stiff. And GM probably has one of the smallest margins now instead of previously, back in the day, they had one of the largest margins. Well, up until they were caught lying about it and ended up going bankrupt. But, long story short, um, yeah, you get this situation where you've got this accumulation channel. I'm just going to draw it out. All right. Looks a hell of a lot like a bear flag, don't it? Well, let's draw the measured move box and drag it down below median value. I'm going to paint this one gray this time.
So you can see through it.
Yes. Bearish measured move chart. If it breaks this angular support, uh, damn, son, $10 a share. I'm down. All right. If it breaks out of this, and this certainly doesn't look like a reversal to me,
No.
but if it breaks out of this, this is going to be the critical resistance point, about 36.80. That's where I'm going to set my key pivot. That's going to tell me what to do when. So that is going to be a key area. A 50% retracement, if some miracle does happen and they get to be bullish, that channel, pretty easy to see. There's your trend. There's your 50% retracement of that trend. Okay, that'll meet somewhere in here. Maybe, we can get a short-term bullish trade to about 45 bucks. All right, we got a double bottom here. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 taps on support,
That's what I said.
but only 3 on resistance.
Yep.
So we're in a zone where it can break either way. And let's see, what is their bias on that? They have lowered their price target by $1 a share to 45.
Mhm.
And that just,
But
okay.
they're keeping an equal weight hold rating.
So
Like
45, if price action grinds on sideways and slowly trends up, yeah, meets the angular, right? That's what that whole channel is. We could do it one last time. Why not? We've only got 1, 2, 3 on resistance. Well, technically 4 on resistance. So why not make a fifth wave?
yeah, I'll wait. I mean, I'm gonna wait for the confirmation candle that goes, okay, we're going bullish. But
Sure thing.
yeah,
Um,
why not?
Classic double bottom on the 1-day chart has already been played. We got L1, H1, L2, break of H1, hit target one up to the next control. That's all done. Pulled back. Got another L1, H1, L2. Short term, 2-hour chart. You've got a short term price target for the bulls right in this minutia here.
Mhm. Yep.
So there's your short-term bull target. It's looking bullish. All right. Since they lowered their price target, typically when you hear downgrade by a institutional analyst, it means that they're going to pump the price. I swear it's almost true all the time. That's the whole premise of SGM, okay? That's the bottom line. Um, in the short term, they tend to either buy or sell into strength, and that's just what they do, man. It's sad. They all talk to each other. These guys got each other on speed dial, so why
That's
not?
why we pay attention to the chart, man.
Yes, sir. So anyway, short term, we're looking at least a retracement about 35.50 would be a good pull target. If it rejects there and it starts getting smoky and heading down for a bearish measure move from this and tests this angular support, oh my, I'm going to be right there to short it again. But if it gets really bad and we start to see the situation get really worse, uh, yeah, there's a heck of a measured move on board here, guys. And sure thing, I could downgrade it.
But yours is in a different way, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I'd love to short GM into oblivion. I'm sorry. It's just I'm still biased, but I know better,
All right. Now it's time to go to your favorite options teeth cutting machine, the Big F, Ford.
Yeah.
They were also into Ford a little bit there. Let's see what they said. They said let's see, Barclays also pretty negative on Ford, ahead of quarter, which is out May 2nd.
As you may know, I've traded the hell out of Ford, and I continue to do so. I'm actually going to delete that line.
Oh
No
yeah,
need.
well this is where you teach people to do their options because it's a great spot to learn the wheel trade.
Yes, it is. And Ford
Oh, look at
options are
that.
highly, highly liquid. They have lots of liquidity. Lots of people trade options on Ford. Therefore,
Dude,
you
this
have
is a
no trouble getting out with a tight bid-ask spread. The price action's easy. What more could you ask for, right?
that's not a bad spot, Jay.
It's pretty nice.
That looks
So
pretty
we've got
nice right there.
the bullish wolf, the bearish wolf, and we're right in the middle. And we've made a 50% retracement line to the regression line of this whole thing, right? Although
Mhm.
that line's drawn shorter than it should be, it still points to the same divergence right here.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go to the daily chart. Geesh, I gotta compress that. Okay,
Ugh.
yeah, no kidding. So, I drew a short-term target here. I've traded that. All right, bounced off of it today. Nice deal, right? Angular or that resistance for the regression lines right here. It's already tested it a few times, but at one point it breached the bullish wolf here. That's still in play later. If we get through this regression line, sure, we can put up the subdivisions. We can start channeling this out. Ultimate bull target 1382. What were they saying about it particularly? They said Ford headquarter, which is out to May 2nd. You
They're
know,
just negative on it.
yeah, I can see short-term negativity, but this does look a little bit like a triple top pattern realistically. But let's look closer. It's really a pennant.
Yeah.
It's really on regression. It can go for bulls. $13 would be the breach, 1380 extension. Pretty simple, right? Um, these are typically going to be looked at as bearish until they're not. So always draw a couple of key points here. One, there's a control zone here. I'm going to paint that orange because I'm going to pay attention to it that way. And it happens to be just above or the high mean of this 50% retracement of this channel here on the 2-hour chart. So if this, then that. The trade is bullish for here. It's been quite bullish today. Even though they downgraded it, they were negative on it. Oh, well, look at that.
Look at those John Wicks, man. Look at
Yeah.
all like just taking people's money.
Analysts say nay, they're really saying yay. All right, so sometimes that happens, but realistically, this could have been a bear flag. It could have broken over. This could still be a bear flag. It could still be the pop and drop. So we get the pop to the 50% retracement and then a breakover. Ultimately, your short-term target about 1270. It could even close there today by the looks of things. It's getting real bullish. We got a full measured move on deck right now. There's 1 bar, 2 bar. Um, be aware that it can channel in this range for a while and then eventually break bullish or bearish. And in the meantime, if you're wheel trading this, the yield on the options is not great wheel trading this, the natural yield, but the active yield sure is. You can scalp this on your commission-free account for $2 to $3 a day on either side of options. So like you can swing the puts or the calls in and just generate income on this thing. And eventually you generate enough income to where your cost basis is completely offset.
Hmm.
You know, about $2,400 is all you need to have the ability to trade one contract on either side of price of this thing while holding a long position. There's certainly synthetics you could do for half that price, but it's forward. It doesn't move much. It's relatively cheap. The fundamental thing to do is to be able to sell on both sides of the price. You don't need a floating hedge. So effectively, think of this like it's a bear flag. Think of this as the last reach of the bear flag. If this, then that. If it rejects here, start selling some calls. If it goes through here, start selling some puts and ride the momentum in either direction. If it channels here, start walking in and out of those things. Swing trade them when it's sideways. Um, let them exercise when it's not. So if you're just at the money or a strike or two out, pretty easy trading. Um, as for long term, it can certainly be bearish. We can certainly see a bearish measured move possible here. So, just take this with the old grain of salt, 50% retracement, and then back down for a full measured move. If that drags on and eventually breaks down, sure, we could see price down here at about 1180. Don't knock it till you try it, but in the meantime, trade that price action because Ford's great for learning on.
All right, that's good stuff. Well, that's pretty much our show, folks. That's what we're doing, and thanks for coming by and checking us out. We're Pat. That's Jeremy. I'm Devin, and this is where we bring you the fish.
There you go. Got your line back.
I had to take it back.
Right on,
Anyway,
man.
um, much love. See you soon.